Jaden Hardy goes off for 27 points on ESPN. Mavs lose to the Warriors. We'll get to the protest in a second. The reason I was upset is because I thought he was hurt. I thought Jaden Hardy's ankle was so bad he could not go back in to the end of the game the other night where the Mavs scored 9 points in the fourth quarter. I think 12 overall, 3 in garbage time. You needed Jaden Hardy on the floor. And I'm not calling out Jaden Hardy. I'm calling out Jason Kidd. And look, maybe it's legit. It's just Jason, for me, has lost all benefit of the doubt. I have it in my mind that Jason Kidd was punishing Jaden Hardy for not playing enough defense, so he pulled out the only person scoring. Who did they play the other night? Who did they lose to?
Memphis, right?
Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies. He pulled out the only person scoring in the second half against the Grizzlies to punish him.
Dying.
No one's dying. And he said, the ankle, he couldn't go back in. He looked pretty damn healthy last night. 27 points, 10 of 18. Luka returns with 30 and 17 assists. No Kyrie. Mavs lose. But that's just how my brain has made up its mind on Jason Kidd, even if Jaden Hardy was banged up with the ankle.
Yeah, because the reason why is because he's shown consistently that he'll play that sort of a game where it's a punishment and then he's not being upfront about it. We've seen it all year with Christian Wood, where Christian Wood will get punished, or Christian Wood, maybe not punished, but Christian Wood will feel the anger of Jason Kidd about him not playing defense, and there'll be repercussions for that. And then Jason Kidd is just very vague about what it is or what's going on. And so it felt like pretext, the ankle, where it's like, oh, perfect, I can say it's this.
Right.
Instead of just owning up to he doesn't play my brand of ball. Well, it doesn't matter when the rest of the team, he's going 5 of 7 in the final 15 minutes, and the rest of the team shoots 1 of 21.
Need stops.
25 minutes for Christian Wood last night.
Hey, it's not 24.
Without Kyrie. That's less than he's played the last 3 games against Memphis, LA, and San Antonio. So there's 25 minutes there for Christian Wood. I wonder what team he's going to end up on next year. But
not here.
Definitely not here. Let's get to the protest. Bobby, your opinion of what played out on the floor, as it looks like the Warriors got a free 2 points and Mark Cuban is challenging it with the NBA.
So they've shown they've shown the video a couple different angles this morning and like zoomed in on the ref here on like ESPN and SportsCenter and stuff like that. He's signaling, I guess, for the timeout and not which direction the ball went, because when he signals immediately, I think it's Kevon Looney comes over and is like, dude, what do you mean there, ball? And then it looks like he's saying, no, I was pointing to the timeout. And then he points his thumb backwards like it's y'all's ball. But that's not clear enough. And so regardless of did they mess up the actual call, I think is irrelevant. The point is, was it confusing enough that you didn't clarify for the Mavericks? Like you guys were talking about earlier, where it's one of those things where as soon as they're on the other end of the court, somebody should just go, guys, down here, we're about to get started. Just something. You can't just like treat this like this isn't the hidden ball trick in baseball where it's like, let's try and get them real quick. Let them know, okay, come back down here.
It's like in football, if a team accidentally starts heading towards, or they don't switch sides of the field, and the other team is getting ready to snap the ball, right? And the other team is on the opposite end. The refs would be like, guys, we're lining up here for first down. It's first and goal down this way.
They may give you a second or two to move your butt down there, and they just didn't do that. Because the officials said they corrected it before the timeout. That's what the pool report is. They corrected it before the timeout. Okay, all right. I mean, how vaguely did they correct it? Did they just kind of give the thumbs up this way? Did they, did they go to the scorer's table, do an official call? Did they go to both teams? Whatever. Those
did
were all.
Did they tell Sean Heath? Sean Heath may be the most important man to get on a radio show this morning in the Metroplex. Did the Mavs PA guy say, how would he say it?
Let's go back right to Mavs. The Warriors have the ball. Oh, man. I'll tell you, maybe the referee tried to, but they couldn't because they were blocked out by Mark Cuban, who was, for whatever reason, at the scorer's table.
Man, that
where he doesn't belong. It bothers me. I'm sorry, it bothers me. This is a team mom or dad in youth baseball, 12-year-old baseball, going onto the field to talk to the umpire at second base. Stay the hell away.
He's defending his team. He's defending his team. We want him to care, Chop.
That's Jason Kidd's job. If Jason Kidd could get Christian Wood,
Jason Kidd's comatose. He doesn't have time. He can't come up there.
Head out of their butts, or head out of his, then maybe he would have been able to go on over there and help. But he wasn't.
Cuban tweeted after the game, during the timeout, the official changed the call and never told us. Then when they saw us line up as if it were our ball, he just gave the ball to the Warriors. Never said a word to us. They got an easy basket. Crazy that it would matter in a 2-point game. Cuban went on to call it the worst officiating non-call mistake possibly in the history of the NBA. That's very specific.
Okay, let's
the
slow
worst
down there, Mark.
officiating non-call mistake in the history of the NBA. All they had to do was tell us, and they did not.
Worst thing, probably we've ever seen. One of the worst things we've ever seen, probably. That's what everybody's saying, quite frankly.
I mean, he didn't watch the 0-2 West Finals or anything, or the 0-1, whatever one that one was with the Kings and the Lakers and the Kings getting jobbed, or any other number of calls. I feel like Mark
Or how
Cuban.
about your own game against the Heat in 06?
Non-call.
Gosh.
This is a non-call, guys. We're not talking about referee fouls.
There's plenty of non-calls in that Heat series where guys on offense for the Mavericks weren't getting calls, but this is just, I don't know. If
it was anyone but Cuban, like maybe if this was not Steve Ballmer, any other owner, but the fact that it's Cuban, you automatically, it's like with Kidd. I automatically think that he's petty with Jaden Hardy.
Yes.
With Cuban, it's just automatic whining. It's like it sucks that the Mavs lost or the 9 seed, but it's not totally worth it. It's almost worth it just to see Cuban whine and cry.
When was the I mean, just for instance, like, this was not his fault. Clearly, this is a referee question, whatever else. But when was the last time that you can remember some sort of issue where Mark Cuban basically says, like, yeah, that was my bad? I cannot recall him ever taking blame for anything. There's always an excuse there, and that's probably it. Is that he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. He's the boy who cries wolf. It's you are always pointing outward as to what the issue is with anything. So why would you be taken seriously this time? And this seems like this is going to be a he said, she said thing. Because I'm guessing the refs will say, we told them.
Right.
And then they'll say, no, we weren't. It's like, well, we can't discern that. So
it's just awful officiating for them. Common sense has to take over. Guys, blow the whistle. You're on defense.
Blow the whistle.
That's it. Done. Simple. Solved.
This is a bad run for them.
And by the way, my other question I asked to start the show, if Reggie Bullock does not hit that 3, is this not a protest? Because they were down 5. Bullock hits the 3, and Dave Pash, I think, was on the ESPN play-by-play, and he goes, of course now we have a 2-point loss.
Yeah, it's the fallacy of the predetermined outcome, right? It's like, you assume that everything that took place after the protest would have taken place after the protest had there been the correct call in play. You can't assume that. So even if it still would have been a 1 possession game, because you take those 2 points away from Golden State. Even if Bullock doesn't make that shot, it's still a 1 possession game.
No, and see, that's the thing. I don't think you protest the game regardless of the outcome,
right?
Because if you protest, they don't just go, okay, well, Bullock has made the shot now, so it's a tie game, so we're going to pick up with this as a tie game with a second left or whatever. This game would pick up from the Looney dunk.
Yep.
This is where the game is under protest from. If the NBA determines it's correct, then all right, you pick up the game right there, which that was
minute and 30
minute 56 left, and it was a 1-point game. So they would have to play a minute 56 of the third quarter and the fourth quarter.
Now maybe the NBA will do something, because yesterday we got a rare story that an official was demoted. The Fred Van Vliet official was demoted after Fred went off on the league for officiating and this ref in general.
Yes, that's true. So Van Vliet,
ref specifically,
got his $30,000-ish fine, and the NBA basically said, hey, we were wrong. So was that official. And Ben Taylor, the official there, who I do believe was in the G League at one point. I think he was there when I was there, back before I was unceremoniously fired.
Ben Taylor was f***ing terrible tonight.
So he has been demoted. Ben Taylor, he is losing assignments. He already had been removed, demoted as a crew chief. So he is in the 4 of the 5 games after the Fred VanVleet press conference. So he has been demoted and lost some assignments.
Ben Taylor was f***ing terrible tonight.
And this is after Tony Brothers had to get suspended for his back and forth with Spencer Dinwiddie in November. So, like, the NBA's got a bad run here of them having to punish their officials.
At least they're punishing them. I'm thankful for that. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what their union is like in terms of how easy it is to let them go, how hard it is, whatever. You know, these guys are, I mean, all human, so they have biases. Whether they want to admit it or not, they all have some kind of bias. And
Just want to be dicks and
yeah, it doesn't mean you got to let it go unpunished.
What are the Tolos saying about the protest? Are they saying that we were robbed and cheated, or are they making fun of Cuban for being Little League parent? 877-881-1053. I'm curious. 877-881-1053. Truckwreck.com text line. And while we get some of those responses, how about Luka with this money sign he kept doing? I was like, why is he doing the money Manziel? Now, Johnny was douchily doing it to be like, I'm money and I make that money. This seemed like Luka was telling the refs, you're being paid, right? You're being paid off. You're
That's
being
what it
bribed.
looked like.
I was like, ooh.
Because it was Johnny would always do up like this. This was Luka like gesturing towards the officials.
Yeah.
And specifically on the last one last night was after he felt he got fouled or whatever on that layup that he missed with like 10 seconds left. Was he like followed the official over and was doing this before going back to the huddle?
What are the Tolos saying? Are they got Cubans back?
So from the 469, they should have just played better. From the 903, they know the Mavs don't get back for defense. Cuban is petty, typical.
They know the Mavs don't get back anyway.
Let's see.
True.
So we're not killing them for blaming the ref like we did with the Cowboys. Whiniest team and fan base in pro sports. Shouldn't the Mavs have been down there to inbound the ball anyway, since that where the ball went out of bounds? No one knew what was going on. I was there, and they never said Warriors ball.
Well.
Let's see. There you go.
Okay. So there's
For
a
the
lot.
5-1-2, your superstar Luka cost you that game with his horrible defense and all those late drives.
Okay. So not a lot of outrage. It's funny. Cowboys, NFL, blame the refs. This instance last night, play better. Interesting contrast.